Alright, y'all. It's time for us to run through a SAT. Practice SAT speed run. Let's see how fast we can do this, and let's see what score we can end up with. Just a quick note. I haven't done any of these practice tests yet. So this will just be the first time I run through these practice tests, and let's see how we do, okay? And I'll just be going as fast as I can, just to show you that the SAT is not that hard. It's just finding patterns, putting it in, and you can do this so quick, so easy. Alright, let's go. Alright, okay, time started. Okay, we're gonna go with hinder here because such concerns and determination, so it didn't stop him. Hey, so it's gonna be a synonym of observe, so we're gonna go with something along the lines of experiment with her here too. Let's go to and here too. Or experiment with, let's go experiment. Let's find his father because the journey at the novel center is so something. Chaotically across time. Chaotically across time, we're gonna say chaotically is haphazard, not premeditated. Yeah, haphazard. We got haphazard. But also switching strategies when one fails is evidence. Changing their minds may not limited to rudimentary. This is like elementary, Rudy, okay. And all the other ones don't make sense. Single-celled organisms aren't limited to means they're not like stuck with simple stuff. Supposition is going to be a synonym of this. So not regret, not question, not try, surmise. It's not effective. It no longer answers requirements. We're going to say it fulfills because it's talking about these machines not being effective. Okay, now we're going to skip to freaking grammar questions. These are a lot easier for us to go through. Floating or swimming in pools. Raws, because this is like an independent clause, we need something to talk about. Okay, so this is the end of a sentence, which means we're gonna have this because this is independent and this is independent. Alright. Grains is, okay, so it's talking about more than one grain, and then it's those grains' physical properties, and that's just like that. This is two independent clauses here, one right here, and then this will be another one here, which means we'll have this. This is was because it's talking about one person, all the other ones are plural. Okay, so this have is referring to cephalopods, so it's gonna be, we're gonna be cutting off this little bit here. Predicts means it's in the future, will be. Background research she conducts. Feature in her travel books to be its own reward. This is likewise because they're both saying the same thing about the research phase. Alright, let's just read these answers. Sue wants to introduce a novel, The Holder of the World, to an audience already familiar with this author. Okay, it's this one because it doesn't really talk about the author, it just talks about the book. Yeah. Alright. Wants to present the study and its findings. Okay, so we need the findings, which is like the results. Focus. Okay, so the first one doesn't talk anything about the results. This one doesn't talk anything about the results. This one also doesn't check anything about the results, so we're gonna go with D. To a new audience. Introduce the author and the novel. Okay, so the first one does that. This one doesn't talk about the author at all. This one doesn't really talk about too much. Alright, so we're gonna go with A here. So it wants to emphasize the similarity between two turtle species. It can be found in the Atlantic Ocean. That talks about one. This talks about a difference. This is and. Okay, so the last one is just irrelevant. Summarize the study. So summarizing the study means giving the results and everything too. Okay, let's read through the answers because multiple, like some of these are, could be right answers. Effects of wind on exercise. Okay, they found that wind conditions intensify. The birds need more attempts in order to make a successful landing. When the wind was still, okay, sure, no one. Okay, I don't think I like this answer because it didn't talk about it overall. It just talks about one state. Different wind conditions, something either A or D. However, I like D more because it talks more about like the answer, so I'm gonna go with D. Or like the findings of the study. Paradise. To an audience unfamiliar with the novel and its author. Okay, this one's just the author. Okay, this one talks about both. Okay, and these are more or less irrelevant. So now we're gonna go back to question 7. Why would a helicopter built for Earth be unable to fly on Mars? Okay. Mars' atmosphere is only 1% as dense as Earth's. Because of gravity on Mars. Okay, so this is the issue here, and we can just diagnose that as the atmospheric conditions, so we're gonna go with A. Which of the choice best states the main idea? Jollies have been traditional keepers, often serve teachers advisors too. New technologies have changed their rules, but jollies continue to be valued for this. Okay, so even though there's been jollies continue to preserve a community's history, it's all like teaching best is not true. Been in communities for centuries. We don't really get this information, so we can't really just assume that technologies can now, sure, but it doesn't really talk about the main idea. There we go. Which choice best states the main idea text? Praise it, pet him, but I get up and walk away while Thorn's partner is riding the logs, but refusing until they look close to Thorn after they talk so passively. Accepting favors from them as though if he favored them by accepting. This talks about like a dog who's kind of like, he really only cares about one person, the people that this Thorn guy cares about. Yeah, so we're gonna click on that one. Most effectively illustrates the claim. Upon hearing the Blackfoot song, he felt an intuitive and sometimes unexpected sense of cultural recognition. So we need to get unexpected somewhere in there. Stirred me strangely, which is unfamiliar. Okay, sure, we'll go with that then. On the state scale, female. Okay, so let's read the claim here. The female farmers were found to be especially prominent in the cultivation of some specific types of crops, and even constituting the majority of farmers who cultivate those crops. So female farmers at a percentage of total. So the only one that's like more than 50% is 55 here, which is North Ondo, and that's for non-root vegetables. Complete the example. Most of the farmers cultivate cereals. Were women. Central. Actually, no, this one goes above 52 now that I look at it after reading this one. Most of the farmers who mainly cultivate non-root in North and South. North-South, the black one above 50. Alright, we're gonna go see. The F. Scott Fitzgerald is likely influenced by marriage to, but he doesn't recognize Zelda as a writer in own right, and these other authors, such as as an inspiration. So it just talked about inspiration as not being the total idea of the story. So this is me talking about, like, yeah, overlooking. But it's not overlooking this. Yeah, it's this one, because, yeah, and if this one's just right and we know it, we can just move on, right? Herbivore sauropods, dinosaurs can grow more than 100 feet long, weigh up to 80 tons, so we attribute such mass size, increased production, high carbon dioxide. However, there's no evidence of significant spikes. So I'm suggesting that. Okay. Wait, let's read this again because this is like one of those long passages. Grow more than 100 feet. Okay, so they're massive, right? Increased plant production resulting from high levels of carbon dioxide. No evidence of significant carbon dioxide. Yeah, we're just gonna go with this. And now we're done. Okay, we can skip on to the next section. When that take us? We have 18 minutes left. Alright, we're on a good pace. Studying external stimuli to reduce the itching sensation causes allergic histamine response, Lee's word. Harmless applications of vibration, such, okay, so something with harmless, anocious, like innocent. A new and interesting research conducted by, is inspired by their observation that there may have been many studies on the effect of high altitude blood chemistry. There is a, it's not verisimilitude. Quarrel is like kind of like an argument. Verisimilitude will keep this. Perfusion and paucity are opposites, so it's definitely not going to be this. Okay, perfusion is a lot, paucity is like a little, so we're just going to click on this because it's talking about very, like, less, right? Whether the reign of a French monarch, such as historically consequential relative, its trajectory was shaped by questions of legitimacy, colliery understanding of the factors that allow the monarch to. It's not disengage. It's not going to talk about disengaging. Annotating is like highly detailed, kind of. To reciprocate is right. It's also not reciprocate. Like, I don't know what buttress means, but like, one, it seems kind of noble, right? So I'm guessing this, and two, all of these other ones just straight up don't work. Can something pro-social behavior across a larger group? I'm guessing foster, just straight off that. Yeah, more likely to offer, so offer. This demonstrates like fostering something. It's not discouraging, remembering, requiring either. Alright, let's go 13. Not 13. Okay, here we go. Humans use camouflage to capture its prey. Humans to capture its prey. Okay, so that ends the sentence, and rather is talking about this right here. And we can't just stick something in there. Yeah, this makes sense. Right. We'll see if that's right later. And that's was studying when something happened. Yeah, was when. That's the clue there. Entered San Francisco Bay. On July 23rd, a clipper ship Flying Cloud entered San Francisco Bay, having left New York Harbor under the guidance and his wife. San Francisco Bay. And left. It's a full sentence if we want it to be, so we just need to see if this back here is a full sentence. Something having left New York Harbor under the guidance of yada yada yada. Mere yeah, so the second bit is a full sentence, so we can just click that. Okay, so it's talking about this bit here. So it has enhanced, that's only one single one too. Archaeologist, sorry. To study its ancient tombs. And then this bit is a full sentence here at the end too, if we read through that. Chinese American, who portrayed numerous villains in secondary creation, finally got a starring role in a film that critic, blah 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 blah. So let's see if we can remove that. That critic, we can't remove the name, so the name is definitely not this or this. And then claims, this is like the quotes, right? And this just fits right in. It's not like this is a full sentence, so we can just use, we don't need a comma, we can just do C. Growing diverse plant species. Okay, so native and non-native refers to this item. This is a list, which means it's going to be separated by a semicolon here, which means it's going to be at the end of our thing. So this one. Because this is referring to the plant species, and then this means we're moving on to the next item in the list. 40-year reign building. Today, however, and build Babylon is one of the most powerful cities in the world. Today, for instance, this isn't talking, this isn't continuing. So it's not this, this, or this. These are all continuers. This is the only realistic option that we have. He plays Thomas's Geraniums, right? Specifically, this is just like another example of what she does up here, like this claim here. So we're gonna go similarly because it's talking about this and then this, which are two of the same things. Typically custom fits. Lacking a tailor-made quality. Ungainliness. It's not thus. Not likewise, because these are all continuous. We're gonna go nevertheless. That's like but. Or however, something like that. Alright, the student wants to make and support generalization about the orbit of comets. Billions. And that's a generalization. This is also a generalization. This is not really a generalization. This is a generalization. Support a generalization. Okay, so these are just generalizations without any support. So we're gonna go D. Alright, now we gotta go on the reading questions. Harvesting maple syrup. The tree is like describes the function of the underlying sentence. Visual characters portrays a range of they're individual characters. Some ready to portrays a range of personality traits. That makes sense. Beneficial relationship between doesn't really talk about that there. Natural environment doesn't talk about that. They don't really evaluate it, right? Yeah, I don't evaluate, so we're gonna go with A. A Jane Eyre winnow. Water into my brain. Why should quit Thornfield? Germinate and bear fruit. Okay, so it's like talking about quitting or like moving on. Tranquility. It's not dish, it's not like loyal demonstration. Not really fulfilling. Okay, this will make sense. We're gonna go with that too. Presents. Okay, it does present a claim. And it does give an example. I think I like that. Not this. Not this. Not this. Alright, let's go. Exposure to sunshine during the workday can lead overly optimistic. So this is going to be an issue. Overly is really negative in connotation. Two is to four. When manager's forecast exceed the company actually earned that year. Function of the underline. So this is like data. Memorize the results. It's not really the results though. Using team study. Yeah, I think I like this the most out of these. It's not really summarizing, not presenting a specific example and illustrating. Actually, suggest this just is a study, so it's just gotta be a part of the study. It's not this. It's not really summarizing anything, not challenging it. Based on text, author 1's characterization of discovery. Okay, author 1's characterization is generally at the end, so it's gonna be here. Have a gene. Okay, both have a gene, so it's promising. Possess a gene. However, team pointed out the gene likely functions very differently in humans and panther worms, so it's definitely not reasonable. Okay, like this. Not unexpected, not unfairly dismissive. That's what this guy might say about this. Yeah, so we'll go with B. Oh, shoot. Okay, let's see which one of these are even true. Actually, let's read through this claim at the end first. Associate records have been lost. Bare minimums rather than totals. It's entirely possible for. So these are going to be bare minimums, so it's going to be something about more. Okay, fewer. 47. Okay, that doesn't really, we don't really care too much about this, and it's just straight up not true. Okay, more. Only is a bad indicator for this question. Alright. Cretaceous period. Examined. Or like body temperature in terms of monosaurs or endothermic. Endothermy. I guess endothermy is a big idea here. This doesn't really help us. This might be it. It's not that because it doesn't really talk about it. Okay, this isn't true because it's not monosaurs and non-endothermic brain. Yeah. Several monosaurs, yeah. Average number of individuals reporting directly to CEOs. According to the research, the findings suggest that across the years analyzed, there's a growing interest among CEOs in connecting with more departments in their companies. That's our claim. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, we talk about probably like the increase in this. Growing interest in connecting, okay. That's highest. Don't really care about this. And it's not true. Okay, yeah, this is what we talked about like 2 seconds ago. And their planets are composed of the same material. Weaken the astronomers' claim. Okay. Positive is like a claim, and then it's all like the sentence. So it's like being composed of the same material as the sun and the planets. So it's something about like 2 things not being the same. method, this is going to be less effective. We don't really care about that. Nearby host star, the sun, that's not what we're talking about. This one looks true, most stars. This doesn't really matter. Alright. This is like the big thing. Considerably higher is like difference. Encountered few works by African, despite your reputation of being a game card. Remedy this deficiency, but by showing how their work fits in a larger context. Devoted to black artists, that doesn't really work. Okay, this kind of works. This doesn't really work. It's just African artists again, so this is like global modern art, I'm guessing. So it's gonna be like talking about more global, so US and this. That makes sense. Ensuring the experiment has an appropriate control group. Good. Control. They therefore. So it talks about an issue, so struggling makes sense. Can only also make sense. We're not talking about suggestion. We'll find it difficult also makes sense. We'll find it difficult. Struggle is fine. This, I guess this is explained already in the text, so we're just gonna choose this, just to be for the sake of time. Most important collection. Trades in Aztec society before the occupation. However, there are references to Spanish stuff. So something about like there being more Spanish influence or like global influence before the invasion. Or maybe this also might work. This is not true. It could be this. Literary traditions, so it's not this. It's not literary traditions. This coincidental is not what we're talking about. 16, alright, we're done here. Now let's go to review page. Oh, I was okay a lot of time, not even gonna lie. Let's do the math section now. 7 plus 20 is 27. Move on. We're saying mean of the data sets. We have a 27 here, which means it's going to be significantly larger. So data set Y. Yeah, mean of data set Y here. Okay, triangles PQR. Similar, where P corresponds with S. Measure of angle Q is 18. What's the measure of angle S? So let's just take this out. So 180 minus 18 minus 90 will give us this angle here, which is 72. Contains before launch exactly 21 seconds. Okay, so this is just like one of those questions where you just have to like plug it into a calculator. Minus 6205. Take this number here, divide that by 21 seconds. 104,895. 21 seconds gives us 4,995. Each second, yeah, makes sense, right? So value of x plus y. So x equals 5. Negative 15, 8, y equals 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. Right? Yeah. Yeah. 85 hours of training courses represents why? How many more hours does each online training course take than each online on-site? So I'm guessing this is on-site and this is online, right? So yeah, so this is 5. Where x number, yeah. Okay. Square x is side 12, perimeter square y is 2 times the perimeter. 24? Side length of 12, right? So that means it's 48. 2 times 96. So that means 96. We'd have to do 96 divided by 4 here, just to like make sure we get get it done. 24. The function G models, whatever, right? According to the model, how many gallons of gasoline are used to drive each mile? So it's gonna be this, just for this rate. It's a positive value of x minus 1. Let's just divide both sides by 4. Yeah, so it's x minus 1 equals 112 over 4. Which gives us a great value of 29. Because if we get 29 times 4, oh shoot. 112 divided by 4, 28. So we get x minus 1 equals 28. Which means x should equal 21, but this is 28. Like I said, x minus 1 is equal to 28. Sorry, we're solving for x, not x minus 1. positive numbers, which equate from x in terms of b, so we multiply y, and then divide by 11, so y over 77b. M is just going to be our increase here per unit, which if you do this real quick, it's going to be 25 minus 20, which is 5 over 247 minus 192. And then it should give us this number, which is 0.09. Multiply it by 5. Dang, that doesn't make sense. Oh, I did it the other way around. Oops. It should be 247 minus 192. All this over 5. Which means it's 11, which makes more sense because they're going to give us whole numbers most of the time. Where b is a constant, what's the value of b? So minus a negative, which means we add it, which is 9. Okay, the point x53 is a solution. Let's graph this. Okay, so y is greater than 14, which is always going to be true here. And we have to have 4x plus y is greater than 18, so it's going to be a negative. So what if we do 53 minus 4 times negative 5? Does that work? It'll give us 73. I guess it's plus here in this context, so it's 33, so minus 5 doesn't get us all enough of the way there, so it should be minus 9. 300,000 cells per millimeter during an initial observation, doubles every 3 hours. How many cells will there be 15 hours after initial? Okay, so 3, and then it doubles, so we get 6, and then we get 12, and it doubles 5 times, right? So 3, 6, 12, 24, and then 48, so it's going to be, this is the first, second, third, fourth, so we get one more, which is 96. Catalogs Y in thousands, a company sent to us, where X represents the number of years since the end of 1992. Y intercept in this case is the number of catalogs in 1992, right? In thousands. Yeah, 9,000 is in thousands. Where X and Y are positive. So 1/2, X to the 1/2 is equal to 1 over 2. So the 2 is the thing outside, so the 7 is going to be on the bottom. So it's 9 over 7. The population in city A increased by 7% from 2016. Okay, so you might think it's this, because this is 7%, but it's got to be 1.07, because 7% is just how much it increases, how much the total thing is. Yeah. This has no solution. So that means they have to have the same slope, which is right here, right? They're both 16. It's 4 times the preceding term. Right, this way you multiply by 4 for every single term. But if it's the first term, it's gotta be like this. That way it gives us 9 as the first term. This will give us 36 as the first term. Which inequality shows the possible values of x? The minimum value of x is 12 less than 6 times n. This is just like a word problem, essentially. So 12 less than 6 times n is the minimum value of x. Well, then that means it has to be greater than, right? And this is 6n, and then 12. RST are given. Triangle RST, what's the value tangent of W? So RS is gonna be like this, essentially. Essentially it's just gonna be like a line this way. And that's actually gonna be the short side, and then we're gonna have a long ST here, and then TR is gonna be here like this. UVW, that means W is equal to T. RS, T is gonna be the top one. This side's gonna be 20. This side's gonna be 48, so it's 20 over 48. Divide both sides by 4, that's 5 over 12, I believe. Yeah. Translate down 4 units in the xy plane. What is the x-coordinate of the x-intercept of the resulting graph? These are just annoying. 9, x minus 4. No, it's not x minus 4. X minus 10, y equals 19. What is the x-coordinate of the x-intercept of the resulting graph? If we translate down 4, let's see if we can, how do we translate it down 4? It doesn't do anything. What if we do, I think it should be y minus 4, right? That did not translate, y plus 4, sorry. That'll give us 6.556. It should be, yeah. Coordinate of, we'll just go with 6.556. And hopefully that works. Alright, next, that was a pretty quick math section. Let's see if we can do the same for this next section real quick. Yeah. There are 55 sample was selected at random and asked why they intend to enroll in the new study program. 20% respond and who intend to enroll. Okay, so 20% of 55 is 11. Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good number. Machine takes large or small box for a time of 70 minutes each. 10 minutes to make a large box, and 5 minutes to make a small box. Okay, so it's gonna be this, because this is large, and it takes 10 minutes to make a large box. Okay. Two variables, which the following represents a line of best fit. Well, it starts at 13.5, and it's got a negative slope. Okay. What's the best value of D? Okay, let's see. 7x plus 8y equals 56. Okay, this way we got 0, 7 there, and then this should be 8, 0. Great. D, 4, so that means xy equals 4 here, which gives us 3.42, which isn't this, 26 over 7, it's 3, okay, I'm guessing it's 24 then, 3.428, 3.42857 is 24. The quadratic function of f, the table shows f, which following best defines f. So you plug in 0, you get 14. So it could be any of these going off of that. You plug in 1, you get 20. It could be this, can't be this because that gives us 22. It could be this. Plug in -1, it should give us 10. This will just give us 14. This will give us 5 minus 1. This will give us a -4. What, right? 1 minus 5, -4 plus 14. There we go. A is a constant. What's the value of A? Okay, so we just set this equal to 10, right? Well, 50 minus 15 is 35. Right, f of 35 will give us 15 divided by, yep, so that makes sense there. We're a third of the way through. M and M are parallel. If x equals 6k plus 13, and y equals that, what's the value of z? X and y are equal to each other, and then these two add to 180. So if we do 6k plus 6x plus 13, we do 8x minus 29. Let's see if these two ever intersect at some point. Then you get x equals 21. So if you do 21 times 6 plus 13, you get 139, which you get 41. You add 41 to this in order to get 180? Yeah. Line P is defined by this. Line R is perpendicular. What is the slope of line R? Let's find the slope of this first. Subtract 18. Minus 18. Okay, so it would just be -9, which means it would be a positive 1/9, because it's just the inverse, and then you invert, yeah. And then you multiply by -1. Density of 8.07 kilograms per cubic meter, and the sample is in the shape of a cube. What is the mass in kilograms? Cubic meter. Okay, so in order to get the volume of this, we need 0.9 to the power 3, which gives us that. In kilograms. And we multiply this number times 807. Oh, I forgot no copy paste. 3.729. So 588. Length of 0.9 meters. Throwing me off. Yeah, that makes sense. Enough sense. We'll just wave that off, I guess. So we don't have time to think about it. n% every 18 months. What's the value of n? Okay, so this is months. T years. So we plug in 18 months as a year, which is 3 over 2. We get 2 over 3. We get 2/3. We get 1.04. 0.04 to the power of 2 over 3. I'm guessing that's not right. Three and a half years. It's 2/3. That's 0.14 to the power of 2. In thousands of a certain city, T years after 2005, every 18 months. So it increased by 4% every 8 months. Yeah. And no. So in 1 year, it'll do 0.3. It'll do that. No, it's 2/3 times 3 over 2. It should just be 4, because that cancels out to 1. K and n are constants. The equation has no solution. What's the value of k? K and n are constants. The equation has no solution. Well, that means we have to have the same slope, which means it's going to be... What is the value of k? Well, k is going to equal this 28 number here divided by 2, so negative 14 over 15. We'll just go with that now. Because they're parallel, so they have the exact same thing, exact same slope. So it's 290% full price. So marked down at a discount price that is 80% off of retail. What is the discount price of each remaining souvenir in dollars? So we have $7. We're going to multiply by 2.9 to get us to our price, which is $20.3, which is expensive. We do 20, what was it, 20.9? 20.3. 0.3 times 0.8, which gives us 16.24. And that should be our discounted price there. C is a constant. The equation has no real solutions greater than n. What's the least? Okay, let's graph this. X to the power of 2 minus 34x plus 3. Alright, let's just see how this changes, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 100. Okay, let's set this to 0 actually. And let's see what the lowest value of C we can go to is. The lowest value is negative 289. If 12 C is greater than n. So essentially what it wants us to do is look for like what number we need to get to in order for it to never touch this line here. Right, so if we play around with this, we can get pretty close here, and then we can just like slowly move it up there, and it should be able to, we should be able to come down with a number. Yeah. What is the least possible? So this is the least possible because it has to be greater than 289, because 290, then as soon as we hit that, it's larger than that. Dataset contains the heights of 75 buildings and means 32. Dataset B consists of heights of, dataset C consists. What is the mean in meters of dataset C? Contains the heights of the 125 buildings. Okay, so we do 75 times 32 in order to get the total, plus 50 times 62 here, and we get 5500 divided by the total number of buildings is 44. We're done with that expression. For x where b is a constant, rewritten as for h. Which of the following must be an integer? Okay, if we think about this like really quickly, what does b have to like? Which one of these parts here plays an impact on b? Well, that's just gonna be like x plus 1. So this is gonna play an impact here. and this is also going to have an impact here. So it's going to be like b over h or b over k. Following must be an integer. hxj, and then we have kx plus kx. So if you distribute this here, we know h is going to be 4. Which is going to give us two parts to this equation, which is going to be 4x plus, like 4x something here, right? So it's going to be k. That's my guess. A is a positive constant. This is not exactly 1. What is the value of? Okay, so let's see this. Let's add a slider. We do x squared plus ax plus a. And we add a slider here. And then we get ourselves a negative 1.5. Set y equal to this. Y equal to this. And then we mess with the slider until there's only 1.100. Our step is going to be 1. Okay. Then we can mess around with this until we get to a number where this essentially only crosses it once. Right. Now if we get 15, we can do 14, and then 14.5, which means it only crosses it once. So we're going to put down 14.5 here and move on. So next set, data plot B, by adding 56 to each of the values in dataset A. Compares the medians and the ranges of dataset A and B. So the ranges are going to be the same, but the median is going to be different if you add 56. Yeah, 56, it'll move it all over here. So median will be greater then. The range will be the same, that makes sense. Could define g of x. Okay, let's plug these equations in to this Desmos here to see what they look like. And if we get ourselves a table, we can steal some of these points here. Negative 10, negative 1, negative 1, there. If we take negative 5, negative 6, there. What's another point we can steal? We can steal negative 6, negative 3. Negative 3, and then if it's plus 4, that means we shift to the left, I believe. Because it's supposed to be negative, so this will be 7, this will be 10, and then this will be 5. Let's see. Okay, so this one doesn't match that. So if we do 6 over x plus 4, maybe? No. Plus 8. 6 over x plus 8 doesn't match either. Oh, this is a y, that's why. Oh my goodness. Minus 6. It's 3, right? And we shift to the left 4, so this actually makes sense now we look at it. And then 3 more questions if we just cycle through these. A, B, the product of the solutions of a given equation is KAB, where K is a constant. What's the value of K? The product of the solutions is some over, like B over C or something, I forgot. Is given by the equation KAB. Actually, if you take this and distribute it out, you get 57x squared plus B plus ax plus ab. So if you get that, I'm not using any paper by the way, so this is like kind of hard for me to mentally math out. Well, that's just to prove you all like a point that SAT ain't that hard. You're gonna get this, and you're gonna get plus a x plus b. I think, yeah, I forgot that this x over here distributes in, so it's gonna, you're not gonna have that actually. So you're gonna get 57x plus a. I forgot to add an x out here, because you take the x from here and the x from here, and you create that. And that's our first term, and the second one is x plus b. So, let's see. So one of our terms is going to be negative b. And then the other term is going to be, what? What makes this go to 0? Yeah, well, it's going to be, let's see, negative a over 57. So 1 over 57. I get 2 more questions. Is a circle. Alright, let's graph this. Plus x plus y to the power 2 plus y equals 199 over 2. And then if we go through this, click here, that's 20. And then radius, divide that by 2, we get 10. Seems a little easy, but whatever, right? We don't have so much time. Each have a height of 90 centimeters. The base of each prism is a square. The surface area of each prism is kcm squared. The prisms are glued together along the square base. The resulting prism has surface area. What is the side length cm of each square base? We do 90 plus 90 times x. So you have 180 times 4 because there are 4 sides. 180 times 4, 720 x for surface area plus what, x, 2x squared? 2x squared. That is equal to 92 divided by 47. And then we gotta find the surface area of each one, which is x squared. 2x squared actually. Plus 4 times 20, 4 times 2x squared plus 4 times 90x, I think. Which will give us that, and it'll give us 8. So we should get 8. Vertex, parabolas written form, where a, b, c are constants, which of the following could be a, b, c. Oh my goodness. 9 comma negative 14. And then, what, a parabola? Ax squared plus bx plus c. We can add sliders for all of these. We just need to get it over here, essentially. If we make this like negative 50, I guess. Okay, if we make it negative 50, then we can get all the way over here. Get this up to like 100. If we get that up to 100, then we can just like move it up. I'll get our vertex pretty close. Just keep our A at 1. Let's see if we move it slightly over. These are going to be full numbers, or whole numbers, so if we just change a step to 1, that should help. Let's change a step to 1 here as well. Okay, that gets us exactly on the point, I think. Play around with A, let's see what that does. Shoot. Vertex form. Vertex form is y equals a x minus h, which would be 9, r2 plus r outside, which is minus 14 here, which will give us a graph. So if we distribute this out, what are we going to get? We're going to get a times x to the power of 2 minus 18x plus 81 minus 14, right? Which means we're going to go ahead and get 81 minus 14 is going to be 67. So if we do 67 minus 18, which I guess we had, 49 plus 1, it's going to be like this, I guess. Oh, but it could be the other way. What if it's like negative? Oh, shoot. Well, then we have 18 minus 67. I think that's what they want us to do. That'll just be like an inner. To be fair, like, realistically on these kinds of questions, yeah. Okay, so there's my score. I'm going to cut really quick, and then we're going to go back, and we're going to go ahead and check our score at the end, and I'll cut back to that in a sec. So here's the SAT we just took. January 23rd, 2026. That's today. If you don't believe me, I can send you all the test answers, whatever. And we did end up with 91 out of 98 questions right, 7 incorrect answers, which comes out to a total score of a 1510. Actually, we can download this score report really quick. Let me look through this, which means we got a 1510, which is honestly pretty solid with the amount of time we spent on this, which was like probably like half the time. Yeah, a 770 math and a 740 English. This is all just to show you that doing this test is not that hard at all. I spent half the time it takes, and I still managed to do pretty well. I managed to get 1500 plus on this test. First time taking this test, half the time. And we did it. Yeah, we got, what, a couple of questions wrong here and there. 7 questions wrong. But overall, we did pretty good. Probably half the time it takes, you probably have for the SAT normally. And that's me speedrunning the SAT. If you want to see more content like this, please do make sure to subscribe and follow. It does really help us out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.